So acceptance is the key for making any change in your life. And you may not even realize you're going through this process if it's something that's easy or kind of a no-brainer. However, it is more of an obstacle, or can be more of an obstacle when it's something that's painful or challenging to accept. In fact, acceptance can be so challenging that there are people who cultivate and have developed a practice of acceptance. There are several religions and philosophies in East Asian and Southeast Asian cultures who have been practicing the practice of acceptance for thousands of years. And now we're beginning to adapt it more in the Western culture, especially in the therapy world, as it is such a key for making these changes. So an example of acceptance that I give to a lot of my clients to illustrate what I'm talking about goes kind of like this. Let's say that you want to get to work early, you've got some projects that you need to work on, and so you decide to take a shortcut. Hadn't taken that shortcut before, go down that road and then realize there are a ton of potholes, the road's in terrible shape, and you get a flat tire. Well, then you're so mad. Can't believe this happened. Hitting the steering wheel. I'm so stupid for taking this way. Maybe you say a lot of mean things about yourself to yourself. Maybe you're cursing, the people who made the tires. You're cursing the people who, should be fixing the tire, the potholes on the road. So you get the picture. You get out of the car. Maybe you're kicking the tire. And it isn't until you get to the place where you say, okay, I am mad. This really sucks. However, I need to get this tire changed. And what do I need to do to get it done? So you can see that there's all these feelings that you kind of got to go through first before you get to the place of fixing that tire, getting it done. However, if you find that maybe you're one who tends to get stuck in that, so maybe you even do get a place of action, but not action internally, where you're so mad, you stay so mad at yourself all day, or so mad at the government for not fixing that road, or mad at your job for having, these projects that you had to do and now you're late and behind on. You can see that also, even if you did take the action to fix the tire, there still is a lack of acceptance of this happened. So what acceptance is not, it is not a sign of weakness. It doesn't mean that you approve of what's happening. It doesn't mean that you like what's happening. It doesn't mean that you can't do anything about it. It also doesn't mean that you've lost or somebody else or something else has won. Sometimes in order to get to acceptance, one needs to feel through many different emotions to get there. And I think it's common with grief, the loss of someone, or many different forms of loss, a divorce, losing a job, loss of a house, that oftentimes there's many different feelings that come up that one needs to feel through before you get to that place. Acceptance becomes challenging when you get to that place and you're really digging your heels in, or really finding that you're in a pattern where maybe there's bitterness or resentment, or you feel like the world or the universe is against you and you just are kind of stuck with moving forward. So if you find that you really struggle with, or you have a pattern of refusing to accept reality, here are a couple of steps that you can take. Step 1, understand that control is really just an illusion. We really do not have the kind of control in our lives that we think we do, or we like to think that we do. Step number 2, what are your choices? As you start to identify your choices, can you have a little more flexibility here? What are some of the pros and cons of those choices? An example could be, let's say you're mad at your boss, using a lot of work examples today. You're mad at your boss, or really dislike your boss, you're not happy in your job, and yet you haven't taken any action to change that because you feel like, I shouldn't have to do this work, this is my boss's problem. However, it ultimately is your problem if you're not doing anything to make those changes. And so then you can start to look at, what are your options? Are your options getting your resume together and finding another job? Can there be a way that you can approach your boss? Can there be a way to get assigned on a different team? So starting to look at some of your choices can start to help you have more flexibility. Step number 3 is judgment. And I mean, we are human beings. We all have judgments. We cannot help that we do. Yet if you kind of stay with those judgments, then sometimes you can have really mean thoughts about other people or yourself. It can impact how you feel about yourself and maybe create some bitterness towards other people as well. And so those judgments that we can cultivate and hang on to really keep us stuck, because we're just, for instance, if we go back to the boss example, I just think the boss is a jerk. So then you're not looking at all of these other options that you have. Now you can have an opinion, you cannot like the boss, right? And that's different from judging the boss. So best of luck in trying out some of these steps. And check out the link below to like and subscribe to my channel, as I post something new every week, and I hope that this can serve as a resource for you.